You've been told your whole life to be kind, be polite, be generous, be nice, but no one ever taught you where kindness ends and self-destruction begins, and that's the problem. That's why you keep waking up exhausted, burned out, bitter, wondering why you keep giving and no one ever gives back. It's because kindness without boundaries is not kindness at all. It's a slow form of self-betrayal. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing the wrong things for the wrong people, for the wrong reasons, and deep down you know it. You're constantly putting yourself second, third, last, thinking that maybe, just maybe, if you're kind enough, the world will recognize your value. But let me ask you, how's that working for you? People don't respect endless kindness. They exploit it, not because they're evil, but because you train them to. You train them to expect you to say yes even when it costs you your peace. You train them to believe your time, your energy, your attention, all of it is on discount. You became so focused on being liked, you forgot what it feels like to be whole. That version of kindness, the one that requires you to shrink so others can feel tall, that's not kindness, that's fear. That's your wound talking. That's the scared little voice inside that believes if you stop being useful, if you stop being agreeable, if you stop putting everyone first, you'll be abandoned, left out, unloved. But that's not love, that's manipulation. And let me tell you something. Every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you swallow your truth, every time you dim your light to make someone else feel safe, you're not being kind. You're abandoning yourself. You are telling your soul that everyone else's needs matter more than yours. You are selling yourself short not for money, but for approval. And what's the price of that approval? You give them everything, your time, your energy, your weekends, your sanity, and what do you get in return? Crumbs, if that. They don't appreciate you, they expect you. You want to be respected, you want to be heard. You want to be powerful, then stop being kind when it comes at the cost of your truth. Set the damn boundary, speak the hard truth, say no without guilt, because every time you honor your inner voice, you are rebuilding your trust in yourself. You don't rebuild confidence by getting applause. You rebuild confidence by keeping promises to yourself, by drawing the line and saying, this is who I am, this is what I need, and this is what I will no longer tolerate. Some people are going to be uncomfortable when you stop being their doormat. Good. Let them be uncomfortable. Growth always is. You're not responsible for how others feel about your boundaries. You're responsible for holding them, because if you don't protect your space, no one else will. Let me tell you this, the world doesn't need more nice people. It needs real people, people who are awake, people who have the courage to say no, people who are kind but fierce, compassionate but clear, loving but powerful. Kindness without strength is weakness. Kindness rooted in fear is manipulation. But kindness rooted in clarity, in truth, that's a force of nature. That's love in its highest form. That's what transforms lives. So don't tell me you're kind. Show me you have boundaries. Show me you have standards. Show me you can love people without losing yourself. That's what real kindness looks like. Because if you keep betraying yourself just to keep the peace, eventually there will be nothing left of you to give. And then what? You'll spend your life building everyone else's dreams while yours rot in silence. You'll die with your song still in you, all because you were too afraid to disappoint people who were never supposed to control your life in the first place. No more, enough of that. This is your line in the sand. This is your wake-up call. Your life doesn't change when you're liked, your life changes when you start telling the truth. Stop being kind to everyone else at the cost of being cruel to yourself. That ends now. You're not here to be liked. Let that sink in. You're not put on this planet to make everyone else feel good about themselves while you're dying inside. You're not here to tiptoe around truth just so someone else can stay comfortable in their illusion. You are not here to play small just so you don't threaten someone else's insecurities. But that's what you've been doing, isn't it? Let's be honest. You've spent so much time trying to be accepted, trying to be approved, trying to fit into boxes you were never meant to fit into. All for what? For a pat on the back? For a little validation, for a like on a screen, that's not life. That's performance. That's a prison, and deep down you know it. You feel the tension between who you are and who you pretend to be. You feel it when you laugh at jokes that don't align with you, when you agree to things that drain you, when you smile through things that break you. That tension isn't anxiety, it's your truth begging you to stop lying. You weren't born to play by other people's rules. You were born to create your own, and no one is going to give you permission to do that. You have to take it. You have to look yourself in the mirror and decide, I'm done being liked. I'm ready to be real. See, when you live for approval, you live a borrowed life. And a borrowed life is always on least one wrong move and it gets taken away. Say the wrong thing, express the wrong opinion, and suddenly the love disappears. That's not love. That's conditional control. That's manipulation dressed up as acceptance. You want power, then stop trading authenticity for applause. Stop editing yourself so people don't feel threatened by your greatness. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission to be who you are and just be it. Because I'll tell you something, the moment you stop needing to be liked, the game changes, you become dangerous. You walk differently, you speak differently, you stop negotiating your worth, you stop explaining your boundaries, you stop watering yourself down for people who were never meant to sit at your table anyway. And yes, you will lose people. You will make people uncomfortable. Good, that's how you know you're stepping into your truth. Growth demands loss. Evolution requires disruption. If you're not shaking things up, you're probably not living fully. The world doesn't respect people who blend in. It remembers the ones who stand out, the ones who speak up, show up, and take up space without apology. But you can't do that if your identity is held hostage by other people's opinions. The truth is, some people aren't going to like you no matter how kind you are, how giving you are, how much you sacrifice. And that's not your problem. That's their reflection, their wounds, their triggers. You were never meant to be their savior. You were meant to be you. So stop contorting yourself into someone you're not, just to be accepted by people you don't even respect. Stop shrinking every time your power makes someone else uncomfortable. If your presence threatens their comfort zone, that's a sign you're doing something right. You don't get to your destiny by being digestible. You get there by being undeniable, unshakable, unapologetically aligned. And you don't find that alignment by being liked, you find it by being honest. Ruthlessly honest with yourself about what you want, who you are, and what you're no longer willing to tolerate. You're not for everyone. And you never were meant to be. Stop trying to water yourself down to be a cup everyone can drink from. You are not a beverage, you are a force, and that force will offend some people. Let it. Because when you finally stop performing, when you stop bending over backwards to keep everyone happy, you reclaim your power. And when you reclaim your power, you become magnetic. You attract people who see you, who get you, who rise with you. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be free. That starts the moment you stop begging for approval and start living like your truth is enough. You think you're being kind by staying quiet. You think you're protecting someone's feelings by holding back your truth. But what you're really doing is protecting your comfort. And in that comfort, you are killing connection. You are killing growth. Because there is no transformation without truth. None. You can't help people by coddling their limitations. You don't change the world by saying what's easy, you change it by saying what's necessary. And sometimes the kindest, most loving thing you can do is to speak a truth that cracks someone wide open. That's not cruelty, that's courage. You see, we've been taught that honesty is harsh, that truth wounds. But what really wounds people is the lie, the fake smile, the filtered version of your thoughts. That's not love, that's betrayal wrapped in politeness. You want to lead, you want to elevate your life. Then you've got to be willing to have the uncomfortable conversations with others, with yourself, because nothing great ever came from staying silent. You're not doing anyone a favor by telling them what they want to hear. Real growth only comes when people are challenged. And sometimes the only way they'll break through is when someone finally tells them the truth no one else had the guts to say. But let's be clear, I'm not talking about brutal honesty. I'm talking about radical honesty, the kind that comes from love, not ego, from clarity, not superiority, from the part of you that cares enough to risk being misunderstood. Sometimes you've got to sit across from someone and say, I love you enough to be honest with you. That takes guts. That takes emotional strength. That takes a deep commitment to something bigger than approval. It takes commitment to truth. And if you can't do that for someone else, how can you expect to do it for yourself? Because the same way you lie to others, the same way you avoid saying what needs to be said, you're also avoiding the mirror. You know exactly what's holding you back. You know what habits are killing your momentum. You know what excuses you've been hiding behind, but you keep telling yourself the soft lies. It's not the right time. I'm not ready. They need me. I don't want to hurt anyone. That's not compassion. That's fear dressed up in false kindness, and that fear is costing you everything. You've got to get honest with yourself. You've got to look at your life, your relationships, your business, your body, your purpose, and ask, where am I lying to myself? Because if you want to break through, you can't build on a lie. You can't build power on top of excuses. You've got to burn it all down and start with truth. And yes, it's going to sting. Yes, it's going to make people uncomfortable. But discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Pressure creates diamonds, fire purifies gold, and truth transforms everything it touches. You want deeper relationships, tell the truth. You want more respect. Speak the truth. You want to stop feeling stuck. Get honest about the choices you're making every single day. The truth will piss you off before it sets you free. That's how it works. There's no freedom without friction. No evolution without honesty. So stop playing small just because the truth is heavy. Carry it, lift it, speak it. You know that conversation you've been avoiding, the one you've been replaying in your mind 100 times. Have it, not tomorrow, now, because the longer you wait, the heavier it becomes. The truth doesn't get easier, you just get weaker when you run from it. And when you finally do it, when you finally open your mouth and say the thing you've been holding in, you'll feel something shift inside you. That's your power coming back. That's your soul unclenching. That's you coming back to life. You want real kindness. Be honest. Be real. Be willing to walk through fire for someone, not by lying to them, but by loving them enough to tell them what they need to hear. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because silence doesn't save people, truth does. And when you stop being afraid of how people will react, you'll start discovering who's really supposed to be in your life and who is only there for the performance. So if you're going to be kind, make it count. Make it real. Speak the truth no matter how loud it shakes. Your energy is not unlimited. You act like it is, but it's not. You give and give and give and then wonder why you feel empty. You wonder why you're tired before the day even starts. Why you feel resentful toward people you used to care about. Why your motivation disappears. It's because you're spending your energy like it's free. It's not, it's currency, and it's time you started treating it like it matters, because it does. You protect your money, you check your bank account, you track your expenses, but your energy, you hand it out like candy on Halloween. To people who drain you, to problems that don't belong to you, to guilt, to obligation, to distractions, and it's killing your focus, your power, your peace. Let me tell you something, not everyone deserves access to you. Just because someone wants your time doesn't mean they should get it. Just because someone's struggling doesn't mean you're responsible for saving them. You are not a charity. You are not a lifeboat. You are not a 24/7 emotional support hotline. And yet, that's how you're living. You're constantly available, constantly reachable, constantly giving, hoping it will buy you some peace, some validation, some love. But it won't. All it buys you is burnout. You've got to learn to say no without guilt. You've got to get comfortable disappointing people. Because when you start protecting your energy, the people who benefited from your lack of boundaries are going to push back. They're going to get mad, they're going to guilt trip you. Good, that means it's working. That means you're finally drawing a line, and guess what? That's not selfish, that's survival. You don't owe anyone your burnout. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. You don't owe anyone your peace. You earn your peace by refusing to hand it away so cheaply. Look, your future depends on what you protect today. Your goals, your dreams, your mission, they all require energy. Focus, clarity, but if you're giving all your time to everyone else's drama, when do you build your life? If you're always putting out other people's fires, when do you light your own? You've got to stop acting like being everything for everyone is noble. It's not noble, it's a trap. It's a setup for resentment. It's a slow-motion death of your identity. You have to put boundaries around your time like your purpose depends on it, because it does. You have to build walls around your energy like it's sacred, because it is. People will call you harsh, cold, selfish. Let them misunderstand you, because you can either be understood by everyone and exhausted, or misunderstood and finally free. You can't do big things if you're constantly consumed by small things. You can't build your legacy if your day is spent fixing everyone else's chaos. There comes a point where you have to ask yourself, who's taking care of me? Who's protecting my time, my peace, my sanity? And if the answer is no one, then it better start being you. This is not about becoming cold or disconnected. This is about being clear, clear on who you are, clear on what matters, clear on what drains you and what fuels you. Because if you don't know the answer to those things, you'll spend your life reacting instead of creating. You are not meant to live reactive. You are meant to live on purpose, with intention, with power. And that only happens when you create space from the noise, space from the drama, space from the chaos that doesn't belong to you. Sometimes the best thing you can do for others is to stop being available for their dysfunction. Stop enabling. Stop fixing. Stop showing up to the chaos party every time you get an invitation. You think you're helping, but you're only delaying their growth and destroying your own. You want to inspire others. Then show them what it looks like to protect your peace, to guard your focus, to value your time. That's leadership. Because the moment you start valuing your energy, everything in your life begins to shift. The wrong people disappear, the right ones show up, the noise fades, the vision sharpens, and you start to remember who the hell you are. Stop handing your life to people who wouldn't even know what to do with it.